Welcome back to Doc Eason's YouTube channel. Have you ever wanted to improve your memory, be better at remembering people's names? It's an incredible tool. For those of you who know me, one of my trademarks is being able to remember a lot of people's names around the bar. There's nothing more powerful than to hear your name come back at you. If you're one of those people like, I'm terrible at remembering names, I can never remember people's names, this next little segment here might be the best 5 minutes you've spent on your computer today. Settle back with a notepad and maybe a cup of coffee, and I can guarantee you at the end of 5 minutes, you're going to have a few tools in your kit bag that weren't there before, and that will help you to remember people's names. Remember, being able to recall a person's name is the key to success. You don't believe me? Just try it. But watch this thing first. As a barman, as they would call it in England, I'm working for gratuities. And what better way to endear yourself to the patron is to remember him, you know? And I can't think of any other way, any better way. There's other ways to do it, I'm sure, but there's any better way than to call this person by their name. And so I've always had a propensity or an ability to remember phone numbers or remember names, patterns, whatever it is. So through the years, I would recognize, hey, there's Pete coming in. How are you, Pete? And if I was really lucky, I could go, are you still drinking Dewar's and water? Boy, you nail a guy's name and his drink from last year. Phew. Boy, when it comes time to lay that gratuity out there, they're right on you because you've made them feel important. So that's kind of where it started, the realization of the importance of this, of remembering people's names. When you call a person by their name, and you have to understand that your name is the most personal thing that you own. It is what you've been called since before you understood the language. As you grow up, there's a visceral feeling that when you hear your name, it's like when your mother uses all three names, you know. But even in normal situations, the most important thing that I want you to remember, Peter, is this. Boy, when you use a person's name and then emphasize that this is an important thing, boy, okay, this is the most important thing. You just called me by name. You got my attention. What is it? So the name is very important. So once you understand that, and it's really important that you see it visibly and visually on their face. Wow, it's a staggering reaction that they have. So once you understand that, then you go after trying to figure out how to do this. And one way of doing it is the repetition. By repeating it in a sentence back to them, or one of the easiest ways to do this is to clarify the spelling. In other words, Philip, is that with one L or two? He says one. Oh, okay, so it's Philip with one L. Now, even though there's more words involved, looking at this guy and knowing he's Philip with one L is easier to remember than just Phil. Phil goes right by you. A lot of people say, gee, I didn't catch your name. Exactly. It went flying right by because you were thinking about something else you were going to talk about, or the next thing that's on the agenda, or, I wonder if my fly's open, or I wonder if I got spinach in my teeth. You're wondering about something else, but because the name flies by. So if you stop and use that name in some kind of conversation, like Stewart. Is that EW or UA? Now, most people don't even know what you're talking about in the room, but you know who does? Stewart does, because they've been misspelling his name for clearly half his life. Just recently, I was working that particular aspect of it, and a lady, I said, "What's your name?" She said, "Sarah," and I said, "Is that with an H?" She said, "Yes, it is, and thank you very much for asking." Now, I didn't prompt that, but her reaction and the intensity of her answer told me that people have been misspelling her name for most of her life. And she's tired of it, damn it. And the fact that in the middle of whatever else I was doing, I stopped and asked her if she had an H on the end of her name. And that made an impression upon her that went a lot deeper than any card trick you can do. And so if you couple that together with knowing, understanding how vital it is and how important it is for them to hear, and then use a couple of these techniques, well, you're a lot further along the line. One big thing, and I just happened just the other day, I was, oh, I'm terrible with names. Stop saying that. Because when you say, I am terrible with names, you are programming your own computer. And that's not the best way to do that. You're much better say, you know, I'm trying to get a whole lot better with remembering people's names. What was your name again? And how, do you spell that with a Y or an IE? You know, I don't know. Just make some conversation about the name. And you'll find that all these things together will add up to you're being much more proficient. You may not be the memory whiz, but I'll tell you, if you remember, if there's 20 people in a room and you remember 10 of them, you are so much further ahead than you were before. It always rankles me when somebody welcome you up on stage. Hi, and what's your name? Peter. Okay, well, that's good. You stand right over here. And what was your name again? God, you got to be a knucklehead not to remember it for the you know. Now, you know, on stage, you got all the details to remember and what you're doing and where it's going. But if you realize that personal contact is so vital, it's going to make you a much more memorable magician in their eyes than any trick you can do. So yeah, I can't emphasize the importance of memory, the name thing. Try that and you'll see. Well, hopefully this last 5-minute segment provided you with some ideas, some thoughts, some tricks, some tips on how to improve your memory. I laid it all out there for you. Now it's up to you to take some of these tools I just gave you and go out there in the world and try it. And you'll see how powerful this tool is. So good luck with that. And I want to thank you for stopping by the Doc Eason YouTube channel. Be sure and subscribe, tell all your friends, and stay tuned because we've got a lot more great stuff coming down the pike for you. Thanks for stopping by. Look for you next time.